Here's what you guys are gonna do. Eyes and ears, 10 rounds. Tightest group you can muster in that printer paper. Tightest group you can muster. Ready? On you. Do it. Rest of you holstered and safe? Stand by. Cool. Real nice, real nice. Step off the line, you guys step up, and we'll load you up if you're not loaded. I like it, leather. I think I'm gonna double plug, it's loud in here.
Yeah.
All right, on you, tightest 10-round group you can muster without molesting the holes that your other guy left. Keep them in the paper if you can. Let's do it. When you're done, safely holster. Everybody holstered? Rad. I think Chet probably took it, huh? Downrange. Downrange. I think that's probably our tightest group.
Yes.
Less the outlier. Nice job, Chet. I'm going to suggest, just because you can always get a t-shirt or a hat, you take that dry rub Indian stick beating.
I've got to try it. I've never had one.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like when in Rome. All right, real good. I didn't see anything that was unsafe. Thank you. And here's what we're going to do. We're going to use printer paper for a little while this morning. All right, let's talk a little bit. I saw some shitty grips. I saw some good grips and I saw some shitty grips. And your hand, in fractions of a second, said, I see it, I know about where it's going to be, get there and squeeze. So we don't need to always rely on our sights. That job of ours is get the bore aligned with whatever needs a hole, press the trigger while the bore or the sights are aligned, and then keep it fed. So if it runs out, if it has a malfunction, if I ride the slide stop and the gun doesn't do what it's supposed to do, that's not the gun's fault, is it? That's your fault. So it's not a malfunction. The gun did what it was designed to do. User-induced problem. If I do this, because my grip's not right, that's not a malfunction. The button did what the engineer designed it to do, right? If you start getting double feeds or stovepipes, that's and we know the gun's mechanically sound. Can you all hear me okay too? Yeah?
Yes.
You probably are not holding the gun tight enough. So physics of how a handgun works, right? Round goes off, energy sends the projectile downrange, equal and opposite reaction, right? Creates recoil, and the engineers, I got a bad button on there, I pushed it and it worked. Button's broke. The engineers that design these, like John Browning and others, they strip some of that energy to cycle the slide, right? We all know this. Well, if you don't have enough energy for that slide to cycle efficiently, and there's more movement here, what happens? You get short strokes, you get failures to extract, failure to feed. Yes, you're tracking. So we need to be very firm where we're allowing that energy to reciprocate the slide and not causing this shit. How hard? Hard enough. It depends. At the very least, the great Ron Avery, who recently passed, Ron said, hold it like you're shaking a man's hand. You know, at the very least, that's probably the minimum, like that, with the right hand. Are you all righties? Yep. Everybody here's a righty? So from the right hand, I'm touching a lot of germs right now. Yeah. The guy at the end here is basically like the dude catching them all. Let me get in there. Don't be like that finger grabber.
You already got it.
I want to get it again. So with that hand, like about a firm gentleman's handshake, how much with this hand? I have clamped down enough to blow up blood vessels here in my hand from hours of squeezing. I got off the range one day and I'm like, what the I was driving my car and this looked like a big knot here. I busted some shit in my hand from squeezing. That's just from doing it too much. But that's how much grip pressure. Why so much? There's a lot of reasons. That's going to allow the gun to shoot real flat. Besides flat, take that away from me. From a combative standpoint, you ain't taking shit. I'll pull that away and shoot you in the face, and that sight, take it away. I mean, don't literally take it away, but just feel,
Right.
you know, just feel it, right? I'm holding it firmly. You feel it's not loose in my hand. I'm treating this like a 13-year-old who figured out what is for the first time. Just abusing that grip, abusing it. Like you mean it, David. Okay. Right? Good and firm. I can tell you're a sailor by the way you grab that. Yeah?
Yep.
That's part of the reason. So this is not just shooting on the range. If I have to hit you, make some space, and shoot you, I don't want that gun to come loose. If I have to turn quickly, I mean, you're not always aware of what's around you, and hit something, I don't want to lose that gun. There's a lot of famous shooters, if you watch them in matches, they drop guns. Turning and they'll hit a barricade or something, the gun's loose in their hand, they're finishing a load, and they turn and they hit a barricade or some apparatus like in a USPSA stage. Because the context of what they're doing is how fast can I go from A to B. There's no thought there of, I don't want somebody to strip this thing from me. Make sense? So the components of that, high and tight, this is all pretty standard nomenclature these days. We want to be up as high and as tight to the gun as possible. Thinking about where you guys were at on the line. Where's the other 365? You and who else? Your hand, and I'm going to show you when we get back out there, you had some space here. So our master grip, that's what this is called, the master grip. Our master grip, if your holster doesn't allow you to get that master grip, if you have to draw and manipulate, then the master grip's no good and the holster's no good. Because his question, I don't want to have to draw and not be able to shoot. If I have to draw and then, okay, the holster's so comfortable, but I only can get the gun out like this, and now I got to with it, it doesn't really support my goal of being efficient at shooting people, right? High and tight, what it should look like, look at that knuckle, look at that knuckle. See the difference? Yes? Yes. David, do you see that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, that's from it slamming into the gun over and over and over. Because I need that contact point. That's like a touch point, a touch point. Who golfs? You know, when you grab the golf club, I don't even golf, but I know enough about it that you got to get that club the same way. If you get a ball hiked to you as a QB, they roll it till the laces feel just right. This is a touch point. So we're developing these processes. That's what we're doing, a process where every time it comes out of the holster, I know I'm going to be good to go. So touch point, touch point. And it's not do it like me, because our hands are all different shapes. Our guns are different shapes. Our muscles work differently, arthritis, etc. But the goal is that we get the best amount of leverage we can on the gun. In order to get leverage, friction. You need friction. And in order to achieve friction, you've got to touch, right? In order to touch it, in order to get the most amount of friction as possible, we have to touch as much of it as possible. The more space that we can take up here, real estate-wise, the better. So if we take our hand and just slightly cam it forward, straight, cammed, straight, cammed. Who's already doing this? Who's not doing this? Good. How much pressure with this hand? I think like if I took like a good hard lemon and squeezed it. Some of you guys shot really well. Some of you at that distance, it might have been nerves. We'll do it again, and I'm going to give you a finite aiming point. I want to ensure that you can line your sights up and hit exactly what you're aiming at. So we're going to throw up a target paster on the center of those, and that becomes your aiming point.
When I grip, because I have bigger hands and my fingers wrap.
Let me see your hand. Why do guys always do that when they're like trying to like line a hand up? So your hand's smaller than mine, actually. You know what that means, don't you?
Nothing, I just. So, but my question is though, so when I go in for my support hand, because I got more fingers around in the gap, when I go for the support hand, because you want as much of that in the space, right? Should I reposition my fingers?
Which fingers?
The grip fingers? Should
No, I
move them
wouldn't.
back some so that I can get more support hand on
No,
the
because
inside?
then you lose that.
Okay.
And so what you guys see what he's talking about? That's the problem with relying on one hand to do a lot of work is what happens when I take the other hand away. That master grip should be the same if this hand's helping or not. If I take the other hand off and I've developed some weird grip where my fingers are moved, now I'm shooting one-handed like this. I'd rather just have continuity. Make sense? So what has to happen to get a hit? A little bit of a simple question, but what has to happen for you to hit what you're aiming at?
Side alignment, squeeze, trigger squeeze.
Louder?
Side alignment and trigger squeeze.
Sight alignment?
Not moving your sights before you pull the trigger.
I'm going to go with that. The sights have to be aligned on whatever needs a hole in it when you shoot, right? When you press the trigger, you just link them together. When you press the trigger, the sights and or bore need to be aligned on whatever you're trying to put a hole in, period. Make sense? Nothing more, nothing less. So when we are trying to shoot a tight group, what becomes the target? The first shot, right? So if you're just seeing paper, your bullets are going all over paper. If you shoot one bullet hole and then put your sights on the bullet hole and you just fixate on that bullet hole, not where any of them else go, if at the very least, if you're a little bit inconsistent, you'll still be all around that bullet hole. If some of you are shooting everywhere, I know you're probably not looking at the same consistent spot. You sure you're not high right now?
I'm positive.
Okay. Pretty sure he might be high. Be cool if you were. The first group on the line, I'm going to step out, downrange. When I say downrange, or if one of you steps out, the rest of you should resound with good communication on the range. Who said they haven't been to a class? I want you guys, when you leave, if you ever go to a class again, you'll be like the best, safest students there. So awesome communication on the range is important. We don't bend over and pick anything up on the line until everybody's holstered, unless that's the construct of the drill that we're working on, okay? So if you drop something, it stays there. Yes, whatever you dropped is not worth accidentally putting your head in front of somebody's muzzle,
Yes, sir.
right? What you guys are gonna do, this, in order for you to get the benefit from this, is the mic on loud enough that you can all hear me with your ear pro?
Yeah.
You're going to align your sights perfectly. Equal height, equal light. Height, light, right? Align them perfect. Good consistent grip. I'm going to walk down the line and inspect your grips real quick and see if we need to do any tweakage. Do you guys all understand how your trigger has a wall?
Yes.
Some of them do, some of them don't. 1911 could be tuned up where it's just like right there. Do you understand what it means? Yes, that little bit of slack, that over travel. So I want you to get the over travel out. Come to that wall, fixate on the sight. Front sight should be clear, hard focus on that paster. Press straight back, straight back, straight back. One shot, and then we'll assess what's going on. Press the gun out, finger off the trigger. I just want to see your grip real quick. Step over a little bit just so I can see. So here's what I want. Thumb up. Throw that thumb up for a minute. Take this hand off the gun. Here's what I want. Higher. It's going to be uncomfortable, but it's okay. Try it. That's how you control that little bitch.
All right.
Looks good. Let me see. Looks good. You're muscular. Looks good. Looks good. Cool. All right, press the gun out. Put your finger on the trigger. Don't shoot. Get the slack out of the trigger. I want you, finger on the trigger. Can you hear okay?
Yeah.
Finger on the trigger, come to that wall. Do you feel it?
Yep.
I need 6 yeses or nos.
Yes.
All right. Finger straight, compress in. Compress, mounted, compressed, mounted. So in that position, it's a nice safe spot that we can listen. So mount the gun, get the slack out of the trigger, mount the gun, get the slack out of the trigger, press straight back, straight back, straight back, straight back, till the gun goes off. One shot, guys. You guys stand by. Mount the gun, put that front sight right on the paster. Come to that wall, straight back without moving anything but the trigger. Stop popping your head up over the sight. Stay behind the sights.
Say that again.
Your ear pro sucks a large. Mount the gun. Finger on the trigger, slack out, come to that wall, press, press, press. Again, stay on the sights, stay on the sights, stay on the sights, stay. Feel your fingers tightening?
Yeah.
So feel this. Stay consistent. You're doing this. Now it doesn't mean harder, but you're moving your fingers as you're moving the trigger. Give me a hit.
I'm sucking today.
What'd you say?
I said I'm sucking today.
You're okay. So mount the gun, finger on the trigger, relax. Line it up. There you go. Okay, holster up. All holstered?
Yes.
Real quick, downrange. If I say mounted or extended, pressed out, this is it. You're ready to shoot. Finger straight here. I can compress in. I can stand here all day long and listen. I can move like this, right? So high ready, compressed ready, low ready. It doesn't have to be some exact thing. If this target's right here, this works good. This is lower, so maybe I can have the gun lower. Don't fixate on it has to be some 38.7 degree angle. High, compressed, low. Compressed, we're going to use a bunch today, and these ready positions become important because we can shoot from those positions. I can shoot from here, I can shoot from here, I can shoot from here, yeah? So this is just a nice spot to relax. So when we're trying to do this super accurate shooting, if shit starts getting wobbly, bring the gun in, shake your shoulders out, and then come back out. Make sense?
Yes.
We're all understanding. Mounted, compressed. And these aren't like Mickey's terms. I just want to make sure that we're on the same page. Yeah? Yes. You guys are going to do it one more time. Face down range. Draw and compress it. Form your master grip in front of your body. Every time you have to draw up, you got to fix all your shit, then we got to smooth that out. Press the gun out in front of you. Get a good sight picture. Put your finger on the trigger. Get the slack out of the trigger and press straight back. So what I was telling you is don't feel the need to jump your head up over the gun. Just stay on the sights.
Oh, okay.
All right?
Okay.
Mount the gun. On the whistle, you can take a shot, but listen, it doesn't mean on the whistle press the trigger. It means press when you see the sights on the target. You understand? Just throw that away. Don't worry about it. Quit moving anything but the trigger. So this hand, you're squeezing the shit out of this hand. This is what you're doing. This is what you're doing. You're going like this, here's the trigger. You're going,
Yep.
this stays consistent, only this moves.
Okay.
Look, same gun. This is what you're doing. I want to see this. See that? I want it like I want it to get buried. Doesn't have to touch the slide, just let it point towards the target. Good? Couple more times and then we'll swap you guys out. If you need to top it off, holster up. Check out Chris's target. At this distance, if you can't reliably hit a target pacer, I wouldn't doing anything else. This is not the construct of this class. But now when you go to the range, if you can't hit that 8 times out of 10 right out of the holster, I'd work on that. All that means is that you are really refining. You guys roll back. Just stay right here. You guys step out. Draw your weapon, present it to the target. Give me a good, clear sight picture. So the front sight should be in clear focus. Put your finger on the trigger. You guys all familiar with that slack term? Yes or no?
Yes.
So you're at that slack position, or that back of the wall position. You've got all the slack out, right?
Yes.
Without moving the sights, press the trigger straight to the just one time. Did you hit it?
No.
But you got all upset about it. All right. Mount the gun again. I want to see this with this grip. I want this deeper. Yep. Take this hand off the gun for a sec, Doc. I want to see this. Up high and clamp. Let me see your grip. Not too shabby. Looks good. Looks good. Do you have any elbow or shoulder problems?
Not really.
Vision problems?
Yes. Not.
Do you move the gun closer like that to see the front sight?
Yes.
Okay. Looks pretty good. Looks good. All right. On the target, slack out of the trigger. Press, press, press. So you're consistent doing the same thing, right?
Yep.
But you're just not holding the sights probably in the right spot. Good hit. Do it again. On the whistle, mount the gun, get a hard sight picture. Do it again. Again.
Reload.
Dump your mag, reload. When we're holstering, I don't care where the gun's at on your body, use your thumb. I'll just take it right up my pants. I'm not putting my hands in front of it. I don't want to feel where that holster is, but if my holster was here, I could slide up and in. If I'm here, right now I would shoot my right testicle. I feel my nut when I did that. I don't want to do that. So how do I fix that? Just pop your pelvis out. Now the angle of the dangle's out past your penis. See that? If the gun's here, bring the gun around and just look it right in. Where's your offhand as you're holstering? If you've got open carry like that, just let it park right here. When we draw, that hand should be in the middle of our body, right? It's waiting for the gun. When we return it to the holster, just park it in the middle and go right to the holster. If you got to clear a cover garment, then it naturally will be out of the way. Yeah? All right, grab your mags. We're going to retreat all the way back to me. I'm going to give you guys some dummy rounds. We're going to do this again with some dummy rounds.